Hello guys, Mr. Schultz here. We're on lesson 1-5, absolute value expressions. Alright, so don't write this red part. For any real number x, if x is positive or 0, the absolute value of x is x. If x is negative, then the absolute value of x is the opposite of x. Seriously? Forget that. Absolute value literally means, it doesn't literally mean this. That's the definition. But it's like the distance from zero. The distance from 0. Like for any real numbers x, the absolute value of x equals x if x is greater than or equal to 0, and the absolute value of x is equal to negative x if x is less than 0. What does that mean? Okay, well, let's just show you some examples and get this over with, okay? Once again, sorry guys, my pen broke, so now I have to use the mouse and not be able to write it, but that's fine. So how far from 0 is this? So if we have the number 5, how far on the number line is 5 from 0? Well, think of it this way. If you're 5 feet, if you walk 5 feet to the right, how far are you? You're 5 feet. So the absolute value of 5 is 5. What if we go the other way? What if we have negative 5? Okay, how far from you? If you go left 5, are you from 0? You're 5. Done. That's it. Literally, you just what's the absolute value of 42? Well, how far from 42 are you? You're 42. What if you have the absolute value of negative 99? Okay, well, how far, if you go negative 99 feet that way, how far are you? You're 99 feet away. That's it. That's absolute value. Let's continue. So we can create absolute values. So for example, create the absolute value expression of the following. You weigh 153. If the vendor is within 3 pounds of that, you lose. Test with 150 and 156. But wait, every time we have an expression with an unknown number, we have to have a variable. So why don't we just say, hey, let x equal the vendor's test. Okay, so now we've created our let statement. We're saying, all right, this variable we're making, x, it's the vendor's guess. So what we want is we want to be either above it or below it. So let's test this out. Think of how you can use the absolute value. I'll give you about 3 seconds. Okay, so this is a difference question, but we don't care if we're above it or below it. So come on, let's make this 153 is what they originally weigh. We're going to subtract by x, the vendor's guess. Will this work? Well, let's see. We should know. Let's get that out of there. We should know if we have 150, that's within a 3. So we want to get this and figure out, will this expression evaluate to just 3? All right, so let's test it. Let's test 150. So the absolute value, get out of there. The absolute value of all right, let's try that again. There we go. The absolute value of 153 minus 150, 153 minus 150 would be 3. How far away from 3 is 3? It's 3. Well, let's test this. What if we test 156? What are you doing? No, not comment. I want the text. There we go. So we test this. The absolute value of 153 minus 156. We know that's going to be 3 above, But if we subtract that out, we get negative 3. So how far away is negative 3? Well, it's 3. I forgot to put that one for the next one. The expression evaluated would be 3. So if we choose something in between those 2 points, then the vendor wins. We don't get our stuffed animal. We don't get no hippo today or something. Well, let's test something we know that's wrong. So we know that we weigh 153, and let's subtract. The person guesses 163. So is he 10 pounds over? Yeah, he's 10 pounds over. 153 minus 163 is negative 10. And so the absolute value of negative 10 would be 10. How far away is negative 10 from 0? It's 10. So therefore, you get the prize. But let's go on. So it says evaluate. 23 minus the absolute value of 3 plus 4x. Basically, all this is asking is simplify if we give you certain numbers. So let's break it down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so we're going to have 23 minus the absolute value of 3 plus 4x. But instead of x, they want us to substitute 2. So what happens is we're going to slowly but surely solve this equation. 4 times 2 is 8, so we're left with 8. And then we can solve it. But wait, let's start it on the other side over here. We understand that we would just input our information just like before, but there are going to be some slight variations. For example, instead of 2 that we're substituting in, we're substituting negative 2. So we get 23 minus the absolute value of 3. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. And so we already see our change. We get 23 minus the absolute value of negative 5. 23 minus the absolute value of negative 5 is 5. Now it's still minus because the minus is outside the absolute value. So 23 minus 5 is 18. Now back over here, we can see that we have 3 plus 8. So 3 plus 8 is 11. Quite different from what we got over there on the right side, or over there because we're reversed on the camera. And we get 23 minus the absolute value of 11 is 11. And then we get 12. So what I like to think is absolute value, just make it positive. You're done. Let's go on. Describe a real-world situation that could be represented by the absolute value expression of g minus 24. Let's give you a second. All right. Well, first, let's make our let statement. It's a g, so I don't know. Let g equal the number of goals I will make this season. And this is my guess. My estimate, something. It's my guess. So it's not the number of goals, it's my guess of the number of goals. I'm just saying that. All right, well, if I actually scored 24, I could subtract and figure out, what is, or how far off was my guess of how many goals I would make if I actually scored 24. And so this would tell me, if I scored 26, this would tell me, hey, I was 2 off. If I scored 22, it would still be 2 off because it's the absolute value. Bye, everybody.